Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to do a new project. I'm going to show you how to clean up bad material. So I glued up some material recently and it was really warped. And safety first. What I needed was I needed to surface this material before I try to make a sign again, because I've experienced a couple times where the wood wasn't properly surfaced and then the letters don't come out even. So right here you can see I square up the piece of material, I figure out the dimensions, and then it's about 19 3/8 by 16. I turn on my Dust-Rite dust collector. I draw a program to surface it, and I'm going to use a 1-inch white side surfacing bit. And here you can see I'm running the program. And the first pass, and here I'm mounting it down to the spoil board, and I'm using some low washers to hold it down. And it was about a 1/4 inch out. So I wrote two programs, an 1/8 inch and a 1/4 inch. And basically it's going to take an 1/8 inch pass at each time. And we're going to take a 1/4 inch off the top. And then when I flip it over, I will probably only have to take off an 1/8, hopefully. Anyway, here I put the 1-inch white side 6210 surfacing bit in there. And I go through my checklist, and here we go. This is the first pass, 1/8 inch. It's going to take off an 1/8 inch at a time. And it is really smooth, actually. No lines. Here's another view. Actually, I kind of like the GoPro view better. It kind of has a wider angle, and you can see the whole shop. I'm glad I made that checklist up on the wall above the computer, because I find myself looking at it all the time now, because I forget to make sure and test the spindle, do a spindle run and all the different things on the list. So that's a big help to me. And the dust collection has been really good. The only time it's bad is when I'm videoing and I leave the dust shoe off. Otherwise it sucks it up pretty good. Right here I'm going to leave it hooked up, and I'm going to run the next program, which will take another 1/8 inch off. I wasn't sure if I would have to take another 1/8 inch, but I could see that it needed it, so I ran another pass. Right there you can see a deer out the window. There was like so many deer. When I was doing this machining, there was deer and turkey outside these windows all morning. There's another one right there. There you can see some turkeys out there, and we're still milling. This should be the last pass for this side. Now, because I'm recycling a bunch of form boards from my shop build, it's going to be important for me to start surfacing before I do any projects. So right here you can see I'm sealing it with that Zinsser sealer, and I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back and sand it with some light 220 and then put this ore mask on. Now this is my third attempt at the ore mask, and each time I seem to be getting a little better. And right here you can see I load the program for my Santa sign, my Christmas sign. I do the homing sequence XYZ. I do the auto touch plate, then I load the program, and this is going to be a 1/2 inch 90-degree V-bit, and then I run the program, and there it goes. V-carve, it does it pretty fast. I think it V-carved this whole thing in like less than 5 minutes. And here you can see I'm getting ready to run the program, XYZ on the touch plate, and then we're going to hit start. And here it goes. Now this is 8 times speed, and there you can see it's cutting out the little garlands. We have cookies. Actually, we really don't have cookies, so I might not get a Christmas present for that lie, but maybe I'll get some before Santa shows up. Anyway, yeah, here it's cutting out the letters. The V-carve really does a clean job. Although I was impressed with, I did some raised text recently, and that came out nice too. So here's a different angle. I'm finding out that the hardest thing is actually painting the signs. So that is something that I'm going to have to keep improving on. But the stencil held in there better, so we'll see how this one turns out. There's another look at it, and she's done. Now, there was only a couple spots where I could tell that the ore mask kind of wasn't sticking very good. So I don't know if I need to put 2 coats of the Zinsser on. Leave a comment if you're familiar with that. Anyway, I get it all ready and I cover up the spots. I actually decided to seal inside all this wood first, and that way I thought it would help keep it from bleeding out under the mask. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll find out in a little while. But right here I seal the whole thing and then let it dry. After the sealer dries, I get out some blue tape and I cover the garlands, and we have cookies And I'm going to paint the Santa stop here first because that's the biggest section, and I'm going to spray that. And this is some bright red paint. I try to go from different angles, and I ended up coming back and putting a little more on the red also. Now right here I'm going to use a brush and dab in these letters. We have cookies down at the bottom in blue. And I started out with a foam brush, but then I went to a little small brush to get in there. It was just seemed like it was a cleaner way to do it. There's a lot to learn about painting, I'll tell you that. I'm definitely not a painter, but I'm starting to learn stuff every day. Once I get the blue on, I respray the red again, and then I let that dry. And now I'm going to try out this other product. It's a water-based product, and I'll try to list it in the description. But it kind of had some cool colors. It was a matte finish, but I thought I would do the garlands with it to try it out. And I did like it. Of course, I don't know how it's going to turn out when I pull this Aura mask off, but we'll see. Look into using more of that. Off the bat, I actually liked this little paint. It cleans off the brushes a lot easier than the spray paint. So I did like it. And here you can see I'm pulling off the Aura mask, and I was a lot more successful this time. It came out really nice. There was a couple little spots that bled through, but I think I can improve on that next time also. And all in all, this little sign came out really good. I actually am going to give it away as a gift this Christmas. But yeah, so after cleaning it up, I put a little half round around the sign. I then, after I touch up all the paint, I clean it up real good. I get some water-based polyurethane and spray this whole thing about 5 times. And yeah, it really came out good. Once I had the sign completely done and dried and with about 5 coats of clear on it, I bring it over to the CNC machine and I flip it upside down, and I'm going to cut in some keyhole slots. And I've got a little program that I saved that all I have to do is change the size of the material, and I can cut these little keyhole slots into the back of it. Right there, I moved the machine over, changed the bit to a .25 RU2075 from Whiteside, and I proceed to home the machine first. I then XYZ on the material. I then run spindle warm-up, which that takes a little bit of time. The spindle warm-up seems to take about a good 5 minutes. It goes through about 10 different speeds. Once the spindle's warmed up, I always go through my checklist also, make sure that I haven't forgot anything. And right here, I put the dust chute back on and run the program. It's 2 programs. One cuts out the wide slot at about an 1/8 inch deep, and then the next one cuts the center slot a 1/2 inch deep. And then I proceed to mount these on there. I then take a level and mark some lines and mount this on the wall. And it hung up there real easy. Thanks for watching this episode of Outlaw Woodworking. I had good success this time with the Aura mask and the painting. So each time I started improving, and I thought this would be a fun little sign. You know, we don't really have cookies here, but maybe we'll have to get some for Christmas. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Later.